Hey everyone, welcome to Inside the AI. I'm the host of Data Doc, and today we're going to be working on this workflow right here. And what this is going to do is it's going to allow us to create a personalized AI newsletter or whatever newsletter you want to create. In this video, I'm going to show you where to edit this so that you can personalize this to your type of content. And at the end of this video, I'm going to show you how you will be able to send this type of newsletter to your audience, to your customers, or to your communities. I'm going to show you where you can edit this for your brand and it meets your intent. Within each of these, you can click wherever these articles are coming from and you can get more information from what was posted. And now we have the article for what was happening with Meta, reportedly in talks with the investment billionaire to scale the AI. We have all kind of information that was gathered, and this can be sent out to your audience. Now, there are different methods you can do this. You can do this in email. You can send it on LinkedIn. You can create it on your website. There's so many ways you can do. It's up to you to be creative. So if you find value in this video, please like and subscribe. Stay tuned for the step-by-step process of how to do this. Join my Discord community if you want. You can download the JSON. I want to build a community where we can communicate and we can solve problems for each other and help AI automation and grow our communities. So again, if you find value in this video, please like and subscribe. I'm the Data Doc. Stay tuned for the step-by-step process. So the first thing I want to do is I want to talk through what this is doing, but I'm going to hit execute. And what this node is doing is it's going to run, and here we have some links to where it needs to gather information. That sends this information to a splitter, which gathers 6 different links from an RSS feed. And if you don't know what an RSS feed is, stay tuned for the step-by-step guide where I break down what the RSS feed is and how they work. That hits an edit node, which then gathers 160 items, which are the articles from the RSS feeds on the current events or whatever is happening in those RSS feeds. That is really dependent on what you put into these edit fields. So now what's happening inside of this, we have a store news article where we're creating a database. And inside of that database, the information is being logged. And the logging is going to be chunked up into smaller pieces. So if we see that, we can see the splitting is done down here. We have chunks of 3,000. So inside of the recursive splitter, we're splitting up chunks of the text into 3,000 different pieces. And then it's going to update into our store. So now that this workflow has completed and we have all of the RSS feeds and news articles into a database, we're going to start talking through how to summarize it. I'm going to click execute workflow. And what's going to happen is it's going to give it a topic of interest. Topic of interest is going to be sent to our AI agent. That AI agent is going to retrieve relevant information from our database that we've created. And then it's going to be sent to a markdown and a code node that will generate our HTML of how we're going to send the email or the Slack message or the news article in whatever way we're going to send it. With that complete, I can go over to my email and I do see an email has just arrived. So now what I can do is I can go here and I can see inside the AI, Intelligent Innovation Insights. Today is June 10th. It's actually June 9th, but it got sent out early, I guess. It gives you a summary. So we have 15 articles that were reviewed for about AI, 5 different categories. And then here are a bunch of different stories. So that was just sent out. It was just received. You can modify this and you can make it however you want it to work. So again, if you find value in this, please like and subscribe. Join my Discord community, and I'm going to walk you through a step-by-step process of how to build this out. So now I've entered in my N8N environment. The link is going to be in the description below of where you can access this. It's going to be the n8n.io. It has some updates. It's changed a lot in the user interface. It gives you a lot of information. So here we have 2 active workflows, and we can see the active rate, the failure rate, and it explains a lot of information about it. So now within N8N, you want to go to create workflow. It's up here in the top right-hand side. Once you do that, You want to go into the NA to N cloud environment and this desktop, and you want to rename this. You're going to name this to newsletter or whatever you would like to name this, but the naming is not important. It's important for me so that I know to delete this. So newsletter video. So the first thing I need to do is define how I want this to be triggered. Every workflow within N8N and in your life starts with a trigger. When you have a task, you have a trigger. And typically that trigger might be your boss telling you to do something. It may be you getting a phone call. There's many ways to start a trigger. And just like in your real life, N8N works no different. So the trigger that we're going to use is a trigger on time. So the trigger we're going to use is going to be a time trigger, and that time trigger is going to be on a schedule. And the schedule we want to do is every day. This is some of the things that you can modify. You can change this to be seconds, minutes, days. You can do every 2 days, 3 days, every day. I would suggest every day. You can change this to 2 days. That's still not bad. So what this is going to do, this first trigger, is going to trigger every 2 days to get you information. All right. So this is going to be the get your information for the RSS feed so that then the next AI agent can change that information into your newsletter. So with that said, we need to give it some information to go get. So we need to have an edit fields node. So once you have that trigger made, we want to go into an edit node. So this is going to be an edit fields node. And this edit field node is going to be, you have to click this in the middle. But what we're going to do is we're going to name it RSS. Basically, this is just the name of the data. Then we want to change this to an array. And the array is going to be just a type of data that's going to be passed through. Once we do that, I'm going to paste in some information. But this information needs to be set as an expression. Because what that means is it can change. It can be dynamic. So this needs to be in brackets, and then anything in the bracket is going to be the URL of the RSS feed that you want to use. So in the description below, I've listed this website right here. This is an RSS feed spot where you can get different types of RSS feeds. Basically, you could copy this. You can go down. There's different RSS feeds. You can change the topic, but essentially what you want to do is just copy the RSS feed URL. And then you want to paste it in here in quotations after a comma. So comma, quotations, your RSS feed. If you wanted another one, you can do comma, quotations, RSS feed, and it would work. So now once we do that, we have this node completed. So the next node is going to be a split node. So this is going to split out the data into multiple fields. So what you need to do is label the name of the data that you want split out into multiple fields. And for us, what we want to do is label that RSS. So what I mean by that is if I hit play and this runs, it's going to get the information. So right now we have 6 pieces of information being sent through. So now if we talk through what's happening line by line, we have the trigger start. It sends the information to the edit node. So it sends the information to start. Once that happens, it takes the RSS feed and it breaks down the URLs into 6 different sets of arrays. Once we have that, we need to call the RSS feed. So now the next thing I need to do is go into here and type in RSS. This is going to give you the RSS read. And what this is going to do is we want to copy this and we want to slide it in. So if we take this right here with our mouse in our top left, we want to put it into the URL, and now it's going to give us an expression. This expression changes, but it's going to tell us it's going to give us every URL that was pasted into there. So all 6 of these get sent to the RSS feed so that it can gather some information. We'll run that right now and we'll see what happens. And then we'll talk through the data that's coming through. While this is running, what we want to do is we want to do the next node, which is going to be an edit node. So it's going to be an edit fields node. And we have a few things we need to do. So I'm going to hit this button a few times. So we got to tap the middle where it says drag the field into input. And we're going to start labeling some of the data that's going to come in. So the first thing we want to do is title this one as the title. We want to make sure it's a string. So that's the type of data that's coming through. And then we want to put in the value. This value is going to be the information that comes in from the RSS feed. So essentially what we're doing is we're taking the title here, which is right here in the top left. And this is going to be the expression right here. With that one complete, we can go to the next one, which is going to be the actual data. So with that complete, we want to paste in this right here. This is going to be the content right here. The next one is going to be the actual content. So now I'm going to paste in the title, and then I'm going to slide in the content right here. Now that is completed. The last thing we want to do is we want to give it the link. So now we have the link here, and then we have the link there. So now this is the expression. So basically what we're doing here is we're taking the link from here and we're dragging it and dropping it there. And then we're taking the content and we're dragging that and dropping it in there. With this complete, we can pass that information through. And now this edit node is completed and we're working through the next one, which is going to be the store. With that complete, we want to tap this plus sign and we want to tap store. And what this is going to bring us is to a simple vector store. With this completed, we want to add a new vector store. And within this new vector store, we want to make sure it says insert documents into the vector store. So this all can stay the same. Embedding batch size, and then clear the store. So now what we need to do is we need to give it an embedding. So embedding means we need to give it some OpenAI to embed the information. So with this complete, I'm going to add it as large, and this has been completed. We need to add how it's going to load the data. So we're going to use the default data loader. What the data loader is going to do, it's going to load the input into the data, into the store, but it needs to have a text splitter. So what this means is it's going to split up the text into smaller chunks. So specifically for this one, what we want to do is we want to use a recursive text splitter. Now, this is very important for how you want to set up your database. Typically, it's telling us we should use about 1,000 chunk size as the recommended. What that means is if we have 1 million tokens or 1 million texts, every 1,000 is going to be split and put into its own little section. 1,000 put in one section, 1,000 another one, and so on and so forth. You can have overlap where inside of that 1,000, the next chunk will start taking some of that. So if we do 100 as the overlap, what will happen is at 900, it's going to pass them into the second database. That's going to help with the context so that there's some information. So it tells the AI what to go to. If there's not any overlap, you're going to lose some of that context. So we'll leave this like this so we have a better system. And now this system is completed. So now if I run this, what's going to happen is it's going to send the data from what we create. It's going to send the data of what we've received into our OpenAI and into our vector store. So sometimes this takes a while because we have a lot of text. And so now it's going to keep loading the information over and over again. You see it's just splitting it up. It's at number 30. It will keep going. And so while it's doing that, I'm going to move us along and I'm going to click this minus. But what I want to do is I want to keep this up here so you can see that it's working in the background. We're not going to move too far along, but what I do want to explain is getting this right is very important. Because if you don't get the context right, and when you start doing large scale projects, there's many more implications for getting this wrong. A few costs that you're going to run into is where you're going to store the data. If you have redundant data, what ends up happening is you have to pay for that. So what you want to do is you want to set up a system to where you can have the minimum amount of data you need that gives you the most amount of context so the AI can actually call the information. When we're talking about large volumes of information, what becomes important is removing that redundant information and also removing any old information. I have some videos on how to remove some of that old information. I have some videos on how to remove some of the old information and how to identify redundant information and remove them from your vector store. So as this is completing, I'm going to start a new workflow down here on the left. So the way this next workflow is going to run is we're going to click this plus sign right here, and we want to add another workflow. This workflow is going to also be on a time. So what we want to do is we want to go to schedule again. And what's going to happen is I'm going to close it right out. It's going to give us another trigger. All right, so now we have all that information loaded in. We want to start our new trigger. This new trigger is going to be set a little differently than the first one. And the way it's going to be set is we have the first one running every day. Now, what we want to change for this is we want to run this one time a week. The reason we want to run this one time a week is you don't want to overwhelm your customers, your employees, or whoever you're sending this newsletter to. And you want to kind of not make it spammy. So you want to give it once a week, and then you want to pick the day you want to send it on. So we can send it every Friday as like a closeout email or a friendly reminder email on Friday. We definitely don't want to send that at midnight because they probably won't read it, and then they'll go into the weekend. So what we can do is we can send it at 8 o'clock in the morning. So 8 a.m., we can send this newsletter and have it to our person's inbox. So now with this complete, we have the trigger set up, and that was as easy as can be. So now we want to have the edit field. And this is a very powerful one. You're going to use this a lot inside of N8N. But what we're going to do is we're going to click this middle, and we're going to add in some of this information. The first is going to be interest. So this is going to be what you're interested in extracting from the database. So what I'm interested in is AI, games, and gadgets. You can change this. This is where you want to modify the information. At the end of this video, I'm going to walk through each node and tell you where you need to modify stuff. The next piece of information you need to add is another one of these, and it needs to be the number of news items to include. So the name is going to be just that. With that complete, you want to explain how many. So this is another piece of information you can edit. And now this is completed. We can run this, and now we have the information that will come through. So now with this completed, what I want to do is I want to add in the OpenAI and AI agent. And so we have an AI agent. It's going to come through. What we're going to do is we're going to change this. This is going to be changed to an expression. So the first thing we need to change is right here where it says connected chat trigger node. We need to change that to define below. And what's going to be defined below is going to be the summary of last week's newsletter. It's going to be written as an expression just in case it changes. But aside from that, this part of the information is completed. With this completed, we do need to add one more system message. So I've just copy and pasted the expression in, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up this right here. What I want you to do is take a screenshot of this and then go into OpenAI, and I want you to type in the picture that you took the screenshot, and then I want you to type in rewrite this word for word. Then all you have to do is copy and paste it from ChatGPT and put it in. What this is going to do is it's going to write the newsletter. So basically it says summarize the most relevant tech news published in the last 7 days. Write it clear, concise, and easy to understand in English, as if it's curating a weekly tech newsletter. Prioritize stories related to the following topics, which comes from our edit node. And then it says, if those topics aren't present, choose the most impactful, widely reported, and net-worthy tech events from the week. From each news item, provide a short, informative summary, 1 to 3 sentences max. Include the article, title, and a direct link to the original source. Avoid duplicate or highly similar stories. Include the number of items, which are right here, directly in the newsletter. Maintain a tone that is friendly yet professional, suitable for a brand, audience, and tech enthusiasts. So this is what we're going to send it. So now with this completed, we have our AI agent completed. Oh wait, it's red. So what does the red mean? The red means we need to add a few information at the bottom. So the first thing we need to do is we need to add a chat model. So inside of this, I want to add an OpenAI model. So the OpenAI model, what I'm going to do is I already have my OpenAI account connected. So if you need it connected, there's many videos out there. You can just go to the OpenAI platform and get your API key and connect it right here. Since mine is connected, I need to choose the correct model for this. I want to do the 4.0. With this completed, this is complete. And the red goes away, but there's still some things that we need to do. We need to give it the location of the information that it's going to call. So if we tell it to do this, it doesn't know what information to pull in. So we need to tell it to access the vector store that we've created up here of all the news information we've sent. So what we're going to do is we're going to click this button right here and we're going to call the vector store. So now we're going to hit simple vector store. And instead of input data, we're going to retrieve data. So retrieve documents. Now, so the name is going to be get news. You can name this whatever you want. It does not have, it cannot have a space here. The description is call this tool for news articles. We need to make sure we have it in the vector store. And then we need to set the limit to however much we want to do. I'm going to set this to 20. With this completed, I'm going to move this back down here. I don't know why it went up there. And this is going to stay red. And the reason this is going to stay red is because we need an embedding system. The embedding system needs to be from OpenAI. You can use other ones, but since mine is already connected, this is the one I'm going to use. I'm going to use the large model. And what this is going to do is it's going to embed it into the vector store. Once we have all of this completed, this node is kind of complete. And we're about 50% completed with the workflow. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to hit an HTML converter. So if I just type the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a markdown. So this information is going to be converted. So the first thing we need to do is we need to mark down to HTML. So then we're going to paste in this expression right here. And now this is going to take the documents from the input that comes out as markdown and turn it into HTML. Now with this completed, what we need to do is one more important thing, and this is going to be a code node. And this code node is going to be what sends that markdown and creates it into an actual newsletter. The prompt I gave the OpenAI was, you're an expert in N8N. You focus on creating code nodes in JavaScript. You're creating a newsletter, and then you want to give it the information of how you want the newsletter to come off. So I said it's going to be very bright, vibrant, and it's for tech personnel. And I gave it a bunch of that information, and I told it to output the JavaScript for it. So basically, this is what was produced. What I want to do is I want to give you the opportunity to scroll up. And if you do want to use the one that I'm using, you can just take a screenshot right here and tell OpenAI to remake it for you. So I'm going to go down line by line so that you can take a screenshot and then tell OpenAI to rewrite this word for word. So now here's your opportunity to take some pictures. So now I'm going to go line by line. So here's one. Here's two. Here's three. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. Probably that's a lot of pictures. 10. 11. 13. 14. 15. 16. 17. 18. 19. We're getting there. All right. So now you have the opportunity to take some pictures, but I do want to mention this at this point. I do want to mention that you can join my Discord community, link in the description below. You can get this all 100% completely free. Just message me. You can also email me at insidethealgorithm1@gmail.com. So now with this complete, we are coming down to the end of this workflow. What we want to do is we want to add in our Gmail. What we want to do is we want to send a message. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to send myself a message to insidetheai.com. Excuse me, to insidethealgorithm.com. So now we have insidethealgorithm1@gmail.com. We want to say it's the weekly newsletter. And then we want to send it as HTML. And the reason is it's if we don't send it as HTML, it won't come out looking like the newsletter. Then we want to paste this in and make sure it's an expression. Once that is complete, we have that information completed and we can hit this run the workflow and we can see it run. Drink of water while this is working. So now this has been completed. It sent the information. So now we'll wait a second. We'll make sure that it's been sent. I can access that information inside of my Gmail. And here we have the newsletter. So now here's the newsletter. Here's how it looks. And we have a completely new newsletter. So I hope this has been valuable for you. What I do want to mention is I want to talk through some of the important fields to update. So the first important field to update is this edit node field. So as I mentioned, this needs to be edited with any URLs you want of the RSS feeds. So if you have a cooking channel, if you have whatever you have in your niche, find those RSS feeds, paste them in here. The next thing that needs to be updated, nothing else needs to be changed in the first workflow. In the second workflow, there are things that need to be changed. You need to change this first field. Instead of it saying AI, games, and gadgets, you want to put your niches in there. So you may have a niche of cooking, working out, and yoga. And then this is how many you want to highlight. So you can reduce this to, 4 or 8 and not have as many. But this is some of the things you need to edit. The next important thing you need to edit is this AI agent. Make sure that this meets what you want it to be. You can change the tone to be exciting. You can make this however you want, but some of the things you can change, you can modify this to have more than 3 sentences. You can put however many you would like. The tone would be your kind of tone. And then that's basically everything you would want to change. The last thing you would want to change is this code node. This code node is a very important thing to change because this is going to be generated for inside the AI's newsletter. So basically what you would do is you would take this. If you have the JSON file, what you can do is you can just copy this just like this. You can copy it. You can put it inside of ChatGPT. You can put it inside of Claude. You can put it in any type of AI. Paste it in. Rename this for your title. And it will make it just your title. That's the only thing you need to do. And it will change this so that it fits your title. Aside from that, everything else is completed. You can email this. You can set it on Slack. You can do many different ways of how you distribute this. So this is basically a shell, and you can edit some of these smaller things inside of it. So if you found value in this video, please like and subscribe. Comment below and give me some ideas for things that I should do next. If you want something different, if you need this to be created a different way, send me a comment, let me know, and I can create it for you. Thanks. I'm the Data Doc. I appreciate your time. Bye-bye.